Welcome to the show. This is your number one talk news and sports radio station here in Port Harcourt, 92.3 Nigeria Info. How's your day coming along? The 29th day of the month. We have just 2 days left in the month of July. I'm so you guys have you really have no idea how excited I am. You really have no idea. You can't even guess why I'm this excited about the end of the month. You could never guess. Just be happy with me. Be happy with me. I'm Gabriella, welcoming you once again to the show. We're going to kickstart our conversations today with something not so interesting, because even I am affected. We all are affected by the high price of food right now. Goodness, I was in the market the other day, and it just seems like for every weekend you go to the market, the food market, to buy food items, the prices just keep increasing by the day. It is no longer funny. I don't know about you, but for me, not funny at all. We're going to talk about that on this hour. At 1 o'clock, the news update, and right after, I'd like to know why people are so afraid of growing old. Have you ever met a lady who is not bothered that she's growing old? I don't think there is any, and even men these days, everyone just seems to be afraid of growing old. I wonder why. We'll have that conversation at 1 o'clock. It's a Thursday, and that means Mind, Body and Soul happens right after the 2 o'clock news update. I'm having guests join me. We'll be talking glaucoma today on that hour. That's the package on the show for you today. Once again, you're welcome to the sunny side.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
So there's a message on WhatsApp, and it's from Bob. Bob says, Gabby, I know why you're happy and can understand. Bob, I have no idea what you think you know. But trust me, you do not know. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Do you know that you can connect with us on social media? If you're not connected yet, please do so. Hurry now to your phone. Go on at Nigeria Info 92.3ph on Facebook. Click the like and follow button. Nor in the future to come. When you visit the market in recent times, as a matter of fact, in the last 1 year, the cost of food items has increased drastically. So life obviously has also become increasingly difficult for many Nigerians, especially low-income earners, unemployed people, and other vulnerable people. For example, a market survey showed that a cup of beans, which obviously was sold at between, say, 250 naira and 300 naira before now, is now being sold for 500 and 600 naira, or even more in some places. Now, a pink bucket of gari, which was sold around 350 naira, as a matter of fact, at some point it was 500 naira. It was at that 500 naira mark for quite a long time. Now it is being sold at 1,500 naira. Worst of them all is a piece of yam, a tuber of yam. You would initially get a tuber of yam at, say, 500 naira, 600 naira, 700, or at most 800 naira. But now it's sold between 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira for one tuber. Let's talk small sachets of milk, which used to sell at, say, 40 or 50 naira before. It's now being sold at 70 naira, and the list just goes on and on and on. Now, this relentless upward movement of prices is obviously discouraging to so many families with a limited budget. And what even makes it worse is, as the prices are rising, our income is not rising. It's just that's as a matter of fact, for some people, their income is even reducing. Their salaries have been cut down by by a few percentage. And this also adds to the stresses and frustrations of many people, which makes life unbearable for them. It is distressing to see that foodstuff, among so many other things, now cost more. And then taxes and utility bills of all kinds are also increasing. Something drastic needs to be done. Hunger is biting the hardest it has ever bitten in recent time. Now, the word that is most commonly used to describe what has been happening to us in Nigeria is inflation. It's a term in the field of economics to describe, the general and progressive increase in prices and a fall in the purchasing value of money. Now, according to recent data that was released by the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, Nigeria's inflation rate stood at 18.12% in April this year, although it dropped to a little to 17.93 in May this year as well. And the report also showed that the food inflation rate rose to a whopping 22.95% in March this year, compared to the 21.79% it was in the previous month of February this year. Now, this composite food index also rose to 22.72% in April, from 15% that it was last year, April. And these details obviously may differ, but the story is much the same in many other countries around the world. It's not just peculiar to Nigeria. The cost of living globally is rising relentlessly. We don't know why it's happening. For many people, bread and milk have become luxury, and 3 meals a day has become so rare. Rice, as we know it, is now usually eaten only on festive occasions, or maybe just once a week, because of its high cost. Now, those people who suffer the most are the unskilled laborers, the poor people, vulnerable people who are obviously in no position to demand the higher and higher incomes that are needed to keep up with the rising prices of food and, livelihood. And for these people especially, inflation is a thief that robs the neediest of them all. Some people obviously try to alleviate the problem by working longer hours. Some people have begun side hustles, 3 or 4 side hustles. So you see one person who is an engineer also selling human hair on Instagram, also has a mobile kitchen where they deliver food. All of these things just trying to make ends meet so we can at least have food to put on the table for our families. The question right now is, with all of these things going on, what does the nearest future hold for us in Nigeria, with all the peculiarities, with all the challenges and its peculiarities as they affect us? So just yesterday was in the news that potentially the Naira was going to fall even more, and we could obviously see an exchange rate of as high as 600 Naira, and some of them speculating 700 Naira. That is one problem. We still have the issue of insecurity. Right now, clothing, shoes, transportation, electricity, water, everything is at an all-time high. What does the future hold for us? Not the nearest future. What will 2022 look like for us in Nigeria? What action plan would you like to see the Nigerian government taking at this time to ensure that July 2022 is much better than where we are right now? But I'd like this conversation to be open. I would like that you join me. I would like to hear your thoughts. I just want to know that I'm not the only person who's feeling the pangs of how high prices have become, especially for food stock. So call in, let's talk. The phone lines are open. The floor is yours. 0817 93 0002, 0817 93 0003. You can also call 0817 923 0007, or the female caller line 0817 923 0009. Call in and tell me, is your life comfortable with the high cost of food right now? How are you coping? How's your family coping? What are you doing to stay afloat in this hard time that we're living in right now? Do you have 2 jobs? Did you have to switch the kind of jobs that you had before? Did you have to start a side hustle? Did you have to open a small tomato store at the front of your house? What are you doing to stay afloat, really? I'd like to feel your pulse this afternoon. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. We're also on Facebook. We're streaming live on there, so you can watch us real time as you comment on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Gabby, good afternoon. This is Chimbroma.
Good afternoon, Chimbroma. Go ahead.
Yes, I think what I have to say is that Fulani herdsmen should allow people to go into farming. people can no longer farm because of the fear of them being harmed by Fulani herdsmen.
Okay, Chamberlain, thank you very much for your thoughts. Insecurity, as it were. I will not like that we target Fulani herdsmen. These are obviously killer men, because it will be unfair to say Fulani herdsmen, because there are Fulani herdsmen who do not kill people, But anyway, I get your point, Chamberlain. Thank you very much for calling. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is JJ Blair calling from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's so saddening, the increase in the rise of food in Nigeria. I mean, even globally, it's so saddening. But quickly, by next year, if things continue to go on like this, if the Naira keeps dropping, you have so many kids that will be out of school. Yeah, and unemployment will increase in Nigeria. Crime will also increase in Nigeria. That is excluding the issue of insecurity in the north. I'm talking about in the south where we could boast economic situation is still blooming a little bit here and there. But if it continues like this by next year, a lot is going to happen. Seriously. Right now, I teach in a school, and I know how many parents are owing fees for first term and second term. Even this term, they've not made payments. I'm very serious about it. Just check the number of students that attend the public schools in River State. You could tell. You see how students sit on the floor. The school can't accommodate them. The government is doing little or nothing concerning the situation. See, just look at this CBN having to come out to negotiate with the bureau de change
operators. Yeah.
So you could see by next year, if we don't put certain measures in place, it will be so disastrous. I mean, for all of us in Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you as well. Good afternoon. Apologies for that. Do all to call back. On Facebook, Sanchez Joshua says, no, people are struggling to eat because of the high cost of food stuff. Uchenna Okaname says, all food costly right now, and other related goods have increased simply because the government increased fuel. Is that true? Do you agree with Uchenna? Did all of these increases that we're experiencing right now happen because of the increase in fuel price? Good afternoon. Hello? Oh dear, lost that as well. Do all to call back. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Apologies, do all to call me back. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007, or the female caller line 0817-923-0009. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Robert. I'm calling from Bonnet.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the only I feel so far is when we're saying that things get better, it's even getting worse. But I believe God will help us, because the people who call our leaders are not even they are not transparent. They are not going to tell the truth. Imagine between 2015 to now, a dollar is 500 something. Is a pity. And if things continue like this, 2022, I'm seeing tougher Nigeria.
Well, how do you think we can prevent that from happening?
What people should our leaders should they should come down and actually do exactly what they promised Nigerians when they apply for the offices of political offices. They should come down. They should come down and actually look down, put their mind off from amassing waste for their generations to come, and let them have Nigeria at best. And let's see if things will not work well.
All right. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gabby.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Daniel.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Your question, what do I want the government to do or to change so that July 2022 will be better? Unfortunately, sometimes our opinion is not really the opinion of the government. There are a lot that contribute to where we are today. First of all, is insincerity from the government when it concerns the security. The policy of this government has been let us grow our local production. How do you grow local production when you are not sincere about the security? You play tribal when it concerns security in Nigeria. Then how do you want us to grow that local economy? There are several places that the farmers are no longer going to farm. The scarcity of food is contributing to this whole thing. Because when they go to farm, there are 3% or maybe even 7% they will be dead. There are some regions that contribute so much to the food in this country. Bandits and every gun system have already making sure that some of them are not even farming. They are running for their lives. And it's the duty of the government to bring security. And if you see the way government is even contributing to the whole thing, they look like nothing is happening. What are they doing about it? No, nothing. So for me, what I want the Buhari administration to do, first of all, be sincere about your economic policy. Talk about the dollar policies or economic policy generally. I don't think he has been effective. If you think that the people that are in charge of that, our economic policy is not good, why don't you change them? Bring people that can think and make sure we have a better Nigeria. Finally, if we want to get it right, I don't think God will come from heaven and help us. We should help ourselves. We should think good governance for the people of Nigeria. So this something that is working is batting hard. It's not just a tribal thing. The hunger in the south is the hunger in the north. The hunger in the north is hunger in the west. So one thing that is working on this legislation that the political class don't even because they have everything in their table. And when we are shouting, it looks like we are just shouting for shouting purpose, which is very unfortunate. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well for sharing your thoughts on the matter. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to hear your voice, and I've been listening to your program, and now asking for suggestions to what the government will do to improve our economy. The last speaker has spoken well, actually. Most of the problem we have is that bandits and militancy has prevented from going to farm. Because of this, they could not produce as much as they have been. We would want the government to, if they could, by all means, bring Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. I think they can do all possible things to make sure that Nigeria lives in peace so that people can go to their normal businesses and farmers will go to farm, produce food, and send to us. That is one of the major problems. Government also can also go into farming by acquiring land. Make sure they protect this land, cultivate crops. Those crops will grow. No economy in the world that strives without agriculture.
So we're not farming enough.
It's impossible to make sure that Nigerian economy thrives.
So are you saying that we're not farming enough in Nigeria?
Yes, we're not farming enough. For example, past 2 or 3 days ago, in Romujogan, see what bandits and militancy and the cultism has done there. And these are the core equal people that produce the food, the gari we talk about. How could they go to farm? So the government should do something possible to stop all this nonsense by boys in the name of courtesan and bandits and all that.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Oh dear, I lost that. Do also call me back. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. On Facebook, we're streaming live at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. So you can also drop your comments on there. Good afternoon. All right, when you do call, you need to turn off your radio so I can hear you clearly. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gabriella.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Waziri.
Go ahead.
I think this is your question. What do we do, or how do we get ourselves where we are today and food prices and things? In a few days, I have been to some markets and some community in the university. Everything you need as a basic food is there, but it's expensive. The economics says the higher the demand, the higher the price. Is that not?
Mm.
And the lower the demand, the lower the price. We should stop living in defeat. Government have nothing to do about this thing. We've deceived ourselves so much. We've mixed politics with economic and deceive ourselves with religion. You see, like the last week I mentioned one community in Ikwere, Modoga. Out of all the community in Ikwere, in Emoha local government, it is only 2 communities that have crisis, but only 1 or 2 days. Is that the no reason why Gary should be expensive in River State? If one state in this country have problems and they do not go to farm holistically because of security and they didn't go to farm, Nigeria have no reason to be hungry. I'm from southern part of Kaduna and I'm a security personnel. We should remove politics from reality.
Okay. Oh dear, I lost that. Do all to call back. Apologies. We've got about 15 minutes for this conversation on Facebook. Let's take a few messages on here and then we take some on WhatsApp as well. Daniel Yobe says, could this be wickedness or what? Just this morning, while taking my son to school, I decided to buy watermelon for his school project. Luckily for me, I saw a man selling watermelon near the Port Harcourt fruit market. He was busy arranging his goods. I parked and asked, good morning, how much is the watermelon? And the seller said, Oga, na 1.5. Me, I no mean all of them. Now one I won't buy. Seller, 1 now 1.5. I just drove off. The other day I saw a woman selling a bunch of unripe plantains for 10,500 naira. Plantain buncho, not even the plant. It says not even the plantation. Last week, 6 fingers of banana were 1,500 naira. Engine oil I used to buy at 800 to 1,200 naira is now almost 3,000 naira. All of these items are produced here in Nigeria. You don't need dollars to plant plantain, banana, or watermelon. Is it that people are just purposely increasing the price of products, or what? Thank you so much for your comments, Daniel Yobe. This is from Uchena Okanome, says, we cannot fight the marketers. Michael Okori says, the cost of food has now become a global challenge. Indeed it is. Like I said earlier, it's not just a peculiar problem to Nigeria. Globally, there's been an increase in food price across the world, in different parts of the world. There's been an increase in food price. So it has obviously become a global challenge. Ujuwa Oyenku Dominic says, our government is wicked. Obina Mbelu says, okay, I can't take your message on air, Obina. Thank God Atwebu says, the cost of foodstuff, Gabriella, has skyrocketed to the extent that many households are going through hardship now due to bad leadership style of the government. People are really worried of the cost of living. I pity those families that have many numbers of people. The economy has collapsed and Naira has no value again. All right, let's take some messages on WhatsApp and we come back to the phone lines. Hello, Gabriella. In as much as the government has a lot to do, as individuals, we should also try to have little gardens of our own. If 80% of us had vegetable gardens, we wouldn't have to spend much on getting it. The last time I bought Gary was when it was 400 naira per painter. Agriculture is now improving. You do not need plenty of space to achieve it. State governments should even try and farm. We shouldn't depend on particular sections of the country to provide our food needs. Just because some states suffer insecurity, the whole country suffers hunger. It does not make sense. But we're here building building overhead bridges. Since the government has failed us, we should not fail ourselves. Thank you so much for your comments. No name on this one, but you know, I mean, I find it quite interesting when you talk about having your own gardens. Do you think perhaps if we all, you know, toiled the soil to produce our own food, it would help? Of course it will, because I mean, you will no longer need to go buy certain, you know, for instance, you may not need to buy tomato except it's not in season, or you may not need to go buy okra, you may not need to buy your vegetables, you know, and for some who can, you may not even need to buy tubers of yam because you have it in your farm just behind your house. So obviously that's something that we need to encourage. Gardening and farming for individuals, not for a select few people, not for the poor, but for us all, because we all consume food. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like the idea. It sounds great to me. Good day, Gabby. Food index is increasing every day, and 3 square meal no longer easy to take. No hope for the nearest future. Something drastically needs to be done, and quickly, by the government, and all hands must be on deck. Or when it's a Clinton West, the numbers obviously. Oh, okay, that's not for me apparently. Hello, Nigeria Info. How can one expect the quality of life and standard of living of the average Nigerian to improve if God does not help us remove the unjust and insensitive present political and economic managers? Onyebuchi from Ozaba is asking. Good afternoon, Gabriella. We struggle to eat because the cost of foodstuff is too high in the market. And the cows are busy destroying our crops. The government should also give farmers grant and also supply them fertilizers. Round face from Umekini. Gabby, honestly, ever since I was born, I've never felt this kind of hardship. Even during the past leadership of Abacha, it wasn't this much. And as it stands now, things are getting worse every day. People are dying. The government is not sincere at all. Peter Walter from Imo State. The government has put many households into hardship because of the bad leadership style. The economy has collapsed and the Naira has lost its value. I wonder how people will survive if things continue this way. Thank God says. Thank God that Twegu. The Naira is struggling because the leaders have refused to do anything about it, about insecurity and power. We keep borrowing to run the government instead of putting the money into factors of production. Dan Hope from Transamadi says. All right, so let's get back to the phone lines. We'll come back to the messages shortly. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Someone the other time was saying he went to buy watermelon and told him it's 1,500. However, some other person said he went to buy engine oil and it's from 1,200 to 3,000. So I think that answers the watermelon guy. So the watermelon guy, the person transporting the watermelon will have to also go and buy engine oil. So everything, the guy is saying, some other person is saying we're wicked to ourselves. The guy is selling Gary. The man who sells Gary in Emoha or who produces Gary in Eche, does he go to a different kind of market to go and buy some other stuff that he uses? Does he use some other kind of transportation to move his things from the farm produce to the market? It's the same. So whoever is blaming people, we might not, or we cannot blame the citizens completely. A government that in the last 4 years put maybe 10 more million people into poverty. So what do you expect? Everybody, Everybody, population is growing. The policies are as horrendous as it is anywhere in the world. When I mean horrendous, if you have people who run Nigeria, if that's the thought process of people who run Nigeria info, I'm sure Gabi will be jobless because your company would have closed far back before its second anniversary. Trust me, you have people who are taking terrible decisions, and of course, the gross injustice in the land, gross injustice in the land. So, to be very honest with you, I wouldn't tell you there is a magic wand somewhere, or I have an idea of where we can get to. But there is no reason whatsoever. There's no reason, absolutely no reason whatsoever to blame a single individual, or it boils down to government. Utter years of wastage, gross. You look at things government spend money on, and you're like, so nobody could in the last 10 years say, okay, let us fix power. The economy cannot grow if you're not producing. Anyway, it's not rocket science. Let us leave the university of economics. Just explain it. Economy can never, ever grow if you're not producing no jobs. If you're not producing anything, how can economy grow? How can people get jobs? How can money circulate? Everybody cannot go into importation. There's absolutely nothing. Very few jobs that very few people have. And of course, we are hoping on oil that by 2030 it will be obsolete. So my own advice is the government should be listening. Though it's not about spending in the last how many years. Let me just use River State as a case study. In the last 5, 4, 6 years, they are spending over 114 billion on flyovers. My dear, trust me, there is absolutely no direct impact on the life of the people. I stand to be corrected. But of course, if the government hears this and sees me as an APC member, but of course I don't even give a damn about it. But you cannot just come and spend over 200 billion on flyovers. There is no direct impact. How many people can one flyover?
There may be no direct impact, but it's for the greater good of the city, don't you think?
You said?
It might not directly impact you, may not translate to money in your pocket, but it's for easier access from point A to point B.
When is it going to impact on people? When everybody's already carrying arms? We already have a time bomb. It's a shame that we've had years of mismanagement. But you don't try to do the right from wrong.
All right.
You're not doing whatever that is going to impact people. Okay. Even if it's not going to have direct, which other one are you doing that is going to impact directly? The schools are in shambles. Of course, we don't even want to talk about health. The schools, even in the cities, are in shambles. We're not talking about the rural areas. There are people who migrate from the rural areas and come to the city and become criminals. So, until tomorrow, I'm telling you, the government will have to listen because we are already living on the time bomb. Sooner or later, much sooner or later. I'm scared because I'm also part of the middle class. Because when he comes, it is with the middle class that will be consumed. When was the last time I saw Wike myself? I've never even come across him. Maybe unless it's.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. You'll be a final call, as a matter of fact. Let's quickly take some messages on Facebook. Treasure Okezia says, I am still wondering why even Gary price increases daily, even more than the US dollar. Is it the government that produces the Gary as well? People are just using opportunities to undo others. I mean, I kind of agree with this because I've always wondered the logic behind the increase in the price of Gary. I used to think, okay, maybe transportation or something. So also you would wonder why, landlords increase their rent prices. What happened? Did you import the house all of a sudden? They're just questions that run through your head and you're trying to find the logic behind the increase in certain prices. We'll never know, can we? The humble bishop says, good afternoon, Gabby. My life is not comfortable right now. Most people are finding it difficult to feed 3 times a day. I wonder what this country is turning into. He sends that in from Gokana. Thank you so much for that. We've got to wrap the conversation up right now, sadly. At 1 o'clock, the news update, and right after, conversation certainly continues right here on 92.3, your number one news talk and sports radio station. I'm Gabriella. Don't go away.
Let's go, girls.